Hello, Soul Family. Welcome in. Join us today for an amazing episode of Spirit Sessions, A View of the Light, where we have our amazing, the mentor. There's so many more words to describe her, so I'm not going to limit it there, but she is the one who brought us together. She is the one who spoke to our souls and called us from the corners of the world to come together and reunite in this lifetime and be able to bring through the most amazing collaborations and experiences. And we're so excited. But before we get to that, Teresa is burning some white sage. So come on in and join us in this purification and calling in this beautiful energy where we sit together and we could just be in this bliss that we have together. And please take a moment to share this out, invite your friends, and thank you all for joining us. I can't believe this is our 6th season. This is amazing. We didn't think we'd make it past 3 months, right? And here we are, season 6, and we are still going. So thank you guys all for the support and the love that you give us every single week. And now we are going to have Teresa introduce our amazing guest.
Well, everything Beck said is true. It's amazing the way Emily pulled us together like that. It's beautiful. It's a miracle that we all get to hang out. I think of all the other times we incarnated. We're not hanging out, we're knowing of each other and stuff. But here we are. We get to be together all in the envelope and the space that Emily held for us. And I hear Emily's created a new sacred space, and I am so excited to find out and share it all with you. So welcome, Emily. Woo!
Oh, thank you all so much for having me back. It makes me emotional when I get to tap into that realization of what my life mission has done and the ripple effects of how we've all got to come together and seeing the three of you collaborate and share your light, not only grow your own light, but to share it in the ripples that you've created and the lives that you've touched. It's a lot to hold sometimes, I have to say. I gotta push myself and wake myself back up. And it's always so great to return and to be here with you all. So thank you for having me. Bexy, I also wanted to say, when you were talking about that, putting out that call that brought the souls together, and then Teresa, you hit on and touched on a little bit this new community that's coming forward. Girls, I was on the treadmill the other day and I'm looking at the mountains and I'm getting my heart rate pumping. And I feel these downloads coming in with the exact vocabulary that you both were talking about there for this new community of hear the call, feel the call. And as you know, because each one of you have experienced the methodology that my guides gifted me on how we get into the Akashic records, the oming, that om is a soul call that resonates and enlivens the cellular structure for us to know ourselves and to come together in soul family. And it's so, so important. And you both blew by. And Rhonda, you put together the best intros here for the guests when they come on. I get so hyped up when I hear the music and I see all those great skills that you bring in with me. So thank you ladies, all three of you, so much for letting me be a part of my life, your life, and stand in my mission here on the planet.
I love it. So what I really, it's been amazing. Like you said, our journey, your journeys, since you taught us to read the Akash, I know so much has happened to each and every one of us. So it's amazing what you brought to us. Every day is a freaking new adventure into the most amazing things. And it's blows our mind. But here you are CEO and creator of the Akashic Academy, where we all began. And now, is this new thing, the Ether, a part of it? Or is this like a whole new birth?
Well, okay, so when you talk about co-founder, not the co-founder, I know what you're referring to, because back when we first came together, meaning the three of you and the rest of the class who was learning the Akashic Records, I had a business partner at that point in time. So I'll just take y'all back and tell you a little of the history of the Akashic Academy. So when I was learning how to become an entrepreneur, I was self-taught, like I am in most regards of my life, until I reach a point where I plateau and I realize, time to get a mentor. Time to get somebody who's walked this journey before that can not only teach me, but send an assimilation, a transmission of energy. So I found Nick Pereira, who he's no longer working with entrepreneurs in the same way. His life has taken on, maybe it's because he came in contact with the Akashic records too. Our lives tend to evolve really quickly, right? But at this point in time, he was a business mentor, and Nick and I started working together. He worked with me for about 3 months before he said, you know what, Emily, I don't really want to be your mentor in this. I think I want to be your partner and help you build the academy. So Nick became my partner, and we worked together for, you know how the years run. I don't know exactly how many years it was. It was a good handful of years that we moved the mission of the Akashic Academy forward together. And Nick had great ideas. Now, what I noticed was I deferred to all of his ideas, even though I am the founder director. This was my mission, right? I deferred to a lot of his ideas along the way. So when Nick was walking side by side with me as my partner, again, like I said, he had great ideas. So what we did was he said, let's create a magazine, and let's create a network, and let's create a membership program. So we had the Akashic Academy membership program, which was a monthly membership where there was training and there was connection within the membership. And then we had the Akashic magazine, which I love the Akashic magazine. The archived issues of this were phenomenal, but it really allowed us to bring intelligence from all over the community together. Likewise, the Akashic network allowed us to bring wisdom from all over the community together, which is when the three of you decided to do a show. Spirit Sessions was born in that space of the Akashic network. And so for several years, we ran a network of 25 live stream shows, and we produced the quarterly magazine. And there was the membership community where people could come and get training that was not necessarily the Akashic records. It was about developing our intuition and really integrating this intelligence into everyday life. In addition to that, I was also training light workers and visionaries in the Akashic records, how to read their Akashic records. And we got to a point in life, we meaning collectively, there was major shifts that happened in 2018, 2019. And for me, that looked like really all of the masculine energy moved out of my life. Mike and I split, Nick and I split, and I was left to run my business and my family all under my own power. So I really lean in and say, all right, what is this going to look like for me moving forward? And I really needed to simplify things. So I decided I'm going to just stay in my genius, focus on training people in the Akashic records, and I'm going to have to let go of some things that have been really meaningful in my life. And I let go of the Akashic Academy network. But as you see, those who are meant to share this intelligence and be together, you guys didn't skip a beat. You just like, fine, we're just going to take our show. We just take our show over here, Emily. Right over here. But then we let go of the magazine as well and the membership community. And I really focused on, for the past, it feels like it's been about 3, 4, 5 years or so, training other visionaries in the Akashic records and taking them into vortex locations like Sedona and Mount Shasta for advanced level activation. And that has proven to be really successful. My business has, I use the specific terminology quintupled because I 5 times my business within a really short amount of time. But it's continued to grow from there. And now there's some spaciousness where I'm bringing on a team. I've got not only our tech team, but I've got an awesome executive assistant and people who are working with me to help advance the academy. We've got a sales team now. We've got a marketing team. And so as there's more spaciousness, I find, all right, what do I get to show up to next? And it looks like bringing back those pieces of the early stages of the academy that I loved so much. And the very first one to come back is that membership community, which is what Teresa's talking about. So the Ether is our monthly membership community where you can come together, train with other light workers. What I love about this round of the Ether is that we are creating a mechanism so that we can support you daily with reminders of when to raise your energy, so you get a text message that says, let go of where you are trapped in the space of the matrix, where, maybe your thoughts have spiraled you downward and you're holding stress, or you've forgotten to breathe, or you've let go of what your bigger mission is. Time to tap back into your mission and your vision here on the planet. I'm so excited to see how this daily support and connection and reminders, because really that's the next phase for many of us, is embodiment. We have the knowledge. When we're in community like this, we're great. When we're writing in our journal, when we're pulling cards, we're feeling good and connected. But then you go into real life and you do the dishes, or you've got to, go to work and interact with the boss. You've got to pay the bills. Mama's here. You've got to learn to hold that vibrational frequency and hold your vision, hold the state of miracle consciousness in everyday life. So this new incarnation of the ether is designed to support our light workers and our star seeds in this remembering and embodying, so that we don't forget in the day-to-day moments of life that we are here to hold the light and to create a powerful frequency on the planet to lift up our fellow humans.
That is so needed. That's so needed. It's so easy to forget when we take up this mantle and we take on this journey. There's both sides of us. There's who we were a minute before we started, and there's who we're becoming. And it goes back and forth and back and forth. But with that community and the daily reminders, there's progress moving forward.
And I love how you said that too, Teresa. You're so spot on of who we were a minute ago. I was just connecting with a dear friend and soul sister yesterday, and we hadn't spoken in a while. And she was sharing, she's like, oh, let's get together and talk this week because so much has changed in my life. I'm a new version of myself. I can't wait to meet the new version of you, because we're constantly shifting and changing and stepping into these new aspects of ourselves. It's like we're reincarnating many times over in this lifetime.
Yes.
And I think, because I got some downloads about this, and I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. I think that this is a stage between where we were collectively, where we were forgetting our previous lifetimes. Yes, you can do hypnosis, you can do meditation work, past life regression, where you begin to remember these past lives. But in general, most of us do not have instant access to the memory of our past lives. Yes, there are some new, would they be rainbow children, crystalline children?
Yeah.
Name coming in now. But we are seeing some new humans incarnating who do have remembrance of all of their past lives.
Yes.
But the general collective still is not at that place where we have total memory. Before we get to that place where we are born in with that memory, my hunch is that we're going to start reincarnating many times in this lifetime with full access to who we were in the minutes before, the weeks before, the years before. So we can bring all of that intelligence with us into the next lifetime, the next reincarnation of ourselves. And this will be a gateway or a bridge for humans in the future to be able to actually remember a previous incarnation where they weren't alive yet in this body. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've been getting those messages too. I love it.
It's funny because I'm always referring to like my 20s as, oh, it feels like a lifetime ago, or and like I don't recognize who I was back then, or who I was in my 30s, or like there's parts of me that I still have with me, but the majority of it, I don't resonate with who I was. Like I don't remember it as well as if I were still in it. You know what I mean? Like it's just there's such a distance from it now. So I totally understand that, because it does feel like we've reincarnated and been rebirthed over and over and over again in this lifetime.
Yes, 100%.
In fact, well, yes, in the last 10 years. Oh my God. Reincarnated.
I love that.
It's been accelerated since doing the Akashic Records. Absolutely.
Yes.
It's like we're rebirthing every 6 months now.
It is, right? I was curious, in our audience here, how many of you have been trained in your Akashic Records or have studied in your Akashic Records? Just curious about how many people out there have this basis of knowledge or intelligence that supports them in life.
That's a good question.
I can't see comments. I'm going to pull my phone up here because I want to see the comments as they're coming in. But by the way, everybody who's saying hello, thank you for saying hello and letting us know that you're here. I always like knowing who I'm tapping in with, but I can't see you on the screen. I'm going to jump on my phone here.
Well, your mom's got her hand up, and then Gina Palazzo is agreeing with you.
Cool.
If the past seems like a whole nother lifetime.
Yeah.
Man, I've been having lapses lately, though. I've been having, like, all of a sudden, like, something happened between me and Anthony. Like, Anthony had given me a rock, and I had set it down, and I'm still looking for the rock. She says, Mom, I just gave it to you. I have no memory. I go, you're a daughter from another timeline. I don't know who this is.
That 100% is happening often, too. I'm noticing it here in my own neck of the woods as well, especially with my 19-year-old Jack. Sets things down and disappear almost instantly.
Yeah.
But I am working with a client who is got a really, really special mission that he's working on. He's creating a book and channeling his wife who passed away 11 years ago from cancer. And he wants to create not only a memoir, but somewhat of a manual, a field guide for other men who are walking women through this process. Now, me from, Grand Wooville here in the Akashic Records, I'm like, oh, well, of course. I mean, this idea of women getting sick with really grave illnesses and how the men get to show up and to support their partners through this process. This is the rebalancing of masculine, feminine energy. This is all those karmic issues playing out that from ancient Egypt, oh, my body's chilling, when the matriarchy fell. And so it's so, so important. Like, this project feels of utmost importance to me because it's what it looks like in a modern day context to rebalance this energy. But he's coming from, really powerful, masculine, six-pack, project manager kind of energy. And he's really open to the Akash. But before we started this, I said, I'm going to need to teach you how to read the Akashic Records because I'm going to need you to be able to tap into this space so that we can have an anchoring of intelligence and communication and have this quantum support system as we're going through this process. And so he said, ever since I've been reading the records, things have been disappearing, reappearing around here. And he's experiencing this too. And I said, don't stress about it. I said, it's just your timeline jumping. And there's karmic clearing that's happening as you're moving through each one of these timelines. It can feel a little frustrating or like, what's going on here? But put a positive story and spin around it because it's truly magical and miraculous what's happening as you're raising your energy. And it's so fun. What I get to do is so magical.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I've been finding that, like, I was telling Rhonda and Teresa and a couple others about the Pope that had died recently. I have no memory of him whatsoever. None. Like, he never existed. It was wild when I saw this Pope that had died. And I'm like, well, I remember Pope John Paul. I remember Pope Francis, but there's nothing in between. In my memory, it went straight from one to the other. And it was very strange.
Because he was the first one who retired.
Right. And I have no memory of it.
Just slightly.
It was so weird.
We're experiencing so much more of the Mandela effect. What do you ladies think about that? What downloads have you been getting about that and how and why that works? Anything good about around that?
I love that. Ever since the Berenstain Bears, I've been all about, because when I was a kid, when I was, in elementary school, I remember saying Berenstain and the teacher said, no, it's Berenstain or something like that. And I was like, but it's spelled with an E. And now you can't find it anywhere. But I remember that so specifically because the teacher corrected me and I was just like so confused why it would be pronounced that way if it's with an E, right? And now you can't find any of that anywhere. And so for me, once that realization came about, the Mandela effect has just been something that I've been very fascinated with. And I think that, obviously with the time travel that's been attempted by science and things like that, and the collider, was it the Hydron or the collider, whatever it's called? There's been things that have been tampered with that have caused little blips in memory, in time, and things have shifted. Although I don't know that it would be any. I mean, why would it be something so insignificant like one letter change? Or, whether it was, Kit Kat had a hyphen in
Yes,
it
the
or
dash.
something like
Yeah.
that. Like, why are these things? But I think that there's definitely a split in the timelines as well. And I think that that's much more prominent, is that these timelines are starting to split off in all these different ways. And that we're kind of just going through like whichever, depending on where our vibration is the timeline that we're in at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely true too. We can jump timelines based on our vibration and jump back and forth between them really quickly.
Right. I've had that with conversations. I've had a conversation with someone, they don't recall the conversation, but they come into it later, like something shifts within them and they remember the conversation.
Oh,
and it's very strange. It's like the person I had the conversation with at the time was in a different vibration than when I recalled the conversation with them. So their memory of the conversation wasn't there, but when they got back to that vibration, they were able to recall the conversation. It was very strange.
And the deja vu, right? That's happening all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I have another interesting theory about this one that the guides from the Akash have dropped in. And you ladies, you're a great one to have this conversation with, because you've taken the training where you've moved back in time, your consciousness back in time to heal something, right? And that was a part of my dream last night too. I had a couple dreams last night. One of them was really bad. I actually got on early to talk to Rhonda. And I just need some connection and community because my dreams were terrible last night. But I'm recalling one right now where we were going back in time and redoing something. And it was almost like I was having this acting exercise with my client or this person in my dream. And he was having a conversation with somebody in a different way that shifted the time-space reality. It's interesting. Thank you all for just letting me process through it as it's dropping in right now. But what I wanted to share was, remember back in the training where we were guided to move back into a point in the time-space reality in our history when we had trauma or wounding. And healing in the records is as simple as calling in light, because light is intelligence. It's wholeness. And at any time that we have a trauma or we need something to be healed, that is an indication that the event or the situation or the circumstance is not in wholeness. It's not complete, right? In all of the energy there are missing pieces here. Generally, what that looks like is a missing piece of understanding, of intelligence, of either karma that was balancing or a lot, when we experience pain and suffering as a human, let's say somebody says something that hurts our feelings, we're seeing it from the point of being a victim and not always seeing it from the perspective of the person who is maybe also going through trauma. And maybe they're saying that to try to protect us in some way. So the records allows us that completion, right? And when we can see from someone else's perspective or from the God perspective, and a situation becomes whole and it makes sense, we're no longer hanging on to that old trauma. The more we do this kind of work, and that's how it looks in the Akashic records through my guides. But Teresa, I know that you have ways that you take people back in time and help them with trauma. And Rhonda, I know you have your ways, and Bex, you have your ways. All of the ways that these different wisdom keepers are helping us to move our consciousness and shift old hurts and traumas, we're rewriting the past.
Yes.
My human mind doesn't necessarily understand, but my consciousness understands in some way. And my guides have said, this is also why we're seeing so much of the Mandela effect. Mandela, like Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
Mandela effect is that so many humans are waking up and doing the work. And as we shift our consciousness and we heal things of the past, we shift the timelines.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
I get it.
We're also learning to let go of the need to form memories in the way that we were before, because things are so fluid now that we don't need. I mean, we're remembering, every memory we have is a memory of a memory. It's not the actual event anymore. And so those things are shifting. And so as we are elevating and really anchoring into the present, we are losing the need to form solid memories to hold on to build our story, because our story is always unfolding in the now. I don't know where that came from. That's all you. You do that. You just, every time it's like this big thing comes through.
That was really fun. I would ask you to repeat that, but I know when we're channeling,
watch it on the replay.
Woo! That was good. Thank you, Bex.
Yeah.
I love that. I've had experience of changing when I took a client back one time. And then, you're listening to your intuitive messages and you're seeing all the things and you're describing to them. This one was following with me and seeing a lot of the things too. And I won't go into the private details, but there was this porcelain doll that she was given. And they kept showing me. And it's like, okay, what about it? I got the message that I had to tell her to break that doll. It's like, okay. I don't know, this is new territory, but I feel you need to break this doll to break this bond between you and who was giving it to you. And so she saw herself doing it and immediately crying in tears. I mean, it was a release all the way till now. I mean, how many lifetimes since then? And it was beautiful. And then there was another time I was looking into my own, 5 years into the future to see, what was going on. Not 5 years, 5 lifetimes. And I was a man, and I was checking out what was going on there, and I swear to God, he saw me. So when we go back and we do these things, we are affecting people. Every past life of mine that I go to, I feel like they're on my guidance team now. I could talk to them. I should know, they're me or whatever, but they're on my team now, and they tell me things. I mean, isn't that the neatest?
Yeah, so good. I love these stories. I want to hear more stories from Bex and Rhonda too. Like, what are you noticing as you're out there on the front lines of working with people and the collective and getting the downloads? Like, what are you noticing that the planet needs right now in terms of our shift?
You can handle that one, Rhonda. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I do think that community, like we talked about, is a really big thing. I think that we're living at this level right now, and we've got the community going with our audience and with us, and we're preaching to the choir a lot of times, but there are so many people still out there that are hesitant to tell you, like, even if they're, oh, I never told you I did Reiki, yeah, but I never told you I did it. Like, but at the same time, as soon as you start reaching out, these people are magnetized to you. You just start finding everybody else at the same time. So I think the more we reach out, the more people are magnetized to us at the same time. It's like the community builds itself around little centers. And then it's like sacred geometry. If you think of like Metatron's cube, it all reaches out that way.
Yep.
So yeah, like you, right behind you. Yeah, it all reaches out that way. And I think that is maybe how the future will look. Like, and that's how we connect to each other on the planets, are through these little.
That's so good. I saw that. Did anybody else out there see that in your inner eye when Rhonda was talking about the centers building around each other? I instantly saw sacred geometry, Metatron's cube, the illumination. I love it.
Absolutely. And what's funny is that, like, not my work as far as doing coaching and things like that has kind of slowed down a bit, because I've actually got a part-time job out in the real world now, right? And I say real world lightly, but it's funny because I'm finding that the way that, the things that I've learned, the things that I'm doing, people are really interested in that now in a way that they haven't been in the past. That I am able to talk about these things at work, and people are excited. They want to hear more. And I've had customers who, compliment on my crystals, and they know what they are, which is like, that's amazing. And it's just like, and coworkers who are very interested in all the things that I do and want to talk about it. And it's just been such an enlightening experience, because for so long, it's like in my physical world, there was just such a lull in that, where I had it more in the, with you guys online and things like that, but not in my actual town or in the surrounding, in the physical surroundings of my life. Mm-hmm. So it's been really interesting to see that evolution happen. And it's been really powerful because it's like, I don't feel like I have to, and not that I have really, because I'm rebellious, but I don't hold back now. You know, I can show up and just be me and just shine and be happy. And when I go in the store, I turn my Reiki on right away so that there's just Reiki in the store all the time when I'm there. You know, every product, every person, like they're all just benefiting from it. But it's just it's really shifted the way that I experience interactions with others in that person-to-person way. Where, you know, going to the store and things like that, I've just kind of kept myself kind of tight and just get my stuff done. But being in the actual customer service space has been different. And I found that to be really powerful in the way that I'm able to show up. People are responsive in a much different way now, which has been really great.
I love this conversation. So I'm noticing as I'm listening to you, Bex, there's a part of me that's more open when I go out into the world now as well. Whereas before I was shut down, and now I'm eye contacting with people and smiling and having conversations. And there's a particular dude at the gas station who works at my gas station. And I had a crystal ring on the other day, and he was like, "Oh, and it was an unusual kind of crystal." I'm like, "How did you know that?" And then I look, and he's draped in crystals, and he's got this huge one. Like it's almost like he crystal gridded himself there.
It's like our call sign now, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So good. All right, Teresa, how about you? What are you noticing?
Okay, here I'm splitting it two ways. Some of the messages I've been getting recently is one that it's time to step into the balance, divine feminine and divine masculine now. So, you know, we've been rescuing the female and bringing the divine feminine back in, but it's really time to start switching into the embodiment of it and the balance of it, you know, together moving forward. And that's one thing. The other thing I noticed has to do with someone you referred to me a long, long time ago, and I won't name it, but they brought me like 12, 15 people to read, and I'm reading their records, and here's me, you know, wow, what's going on here? And it's like, this is a soul group I was reading. Not just a person, a freaking soul group came to me. And I'm reading them, and they came from universes beyond specifically to be here. They were the ones that are actually seeding, and their children are helping people move their businesses into 5D businesses. Not yet. These kids are not born yet, but they're going to understand the ways of compassion. And there's big corporations who are going to need a help and assistance in switching to a kinder, more compassionate model for them. And these children coming in are in all kinds of ways going to be helping with that. And I was like, wow, that is so cool. So cool. Help is coming, everybody.
Yes.
You know who I'm talking about, Emily? Okay.
I think I do know who you're talking about. And goodness, thank you for saying that. I don't even know if I should go into all of the unraveling of the downloads. I'll give you guys just a little. I can't say that and then not say it, right? There is a really powerful businessman visionary who I've been working with over the past year. And I'm feeling like I know there's something really big that he's here to do. Like it's all over his records. When I open them up, I'm like, just like, whoa, it's like Steve Jobs style big visionary.
Oh, wow.
And I haven't been super clear on how I could show up and help somebody in that space. I mean, I know that I can help people with their mission and write books and create businesses and really creative style work that I've had my hands in before, because that's very much Emily, right? But I haven't necessarily seen how to help people who have already established really big businesses. And so when you said that, Teresa, I'm like, oh, it's about how we incarnate that successful business that's been created in the matrix and move it out into the 5D.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's it.
until I have a conceptual understanding of what I'm supposed to do to show up for people, like until I have the thought, the clarity of the thought, it's just going to be a really cool kind of like a spark, like that chemistry of like, yeah, I know there's something there that we get to work on together. I just don't know what it is yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I like clarity dropped in around that when you said that for me. And I'm like,
I love that.
Isn't that exciting? They're all here now. I mean, we all had our own parts. You can see how many layers. I mean, what a support system is out for all of us. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
It's funny because I had that. There was a client that I worked with for years, and something was coming through, a big download for her around compassionate leadership and corporate healing.
Yes, yes, that's it.
So that was a huge thing, is that, really stepping into compassionate leadership as opposed to, the whole slave mentality of working and never taking time off. And, you have to work to live, and then you don't have time to live. Like, there's just a big shift in understanding how to really feed your soul and be attentive to your needs in a way that you can still continue to have successful corporations, but you have to have successful, healthy people to continue those corporations, right? To be able to do the things that need to be done. And it's in a much more equal exchange sort of way, not just a go, hamster wheel sort of lifestyle.
Yes.
It's time.
Yep, just talking with my executive assistant about that, because working from home and loving your job, you can get really sucked into not getting out enough. And my outings include grocery store, gas station. And I was just feeling the other day, I'm like, man, I need to get out and go on adventure. And one of my dear favorite friends, soul brothers, colleagues on this planet, Bill Holman, who is the keeper of the crystal skull, right? Which is the most profound and potent technology on the planet. This Hewlett Packard has examined the crystal skull. It's the size of an actual human head. They're like, we don't have the technology, human technology, to create this. We don't know where it came from. Furthermore, we can't carbon date it. Like, this thing isn't
wow.
Right?
How cool. Isn't that amazing?
So fun to go out on adventures with Bill and to bring
and
him.
He's adventurous too. I've heard his stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
Real life Indiana Jones.
He is. It's on his business card. He's the real life Indiana Jones. And Bill has really brought that energy and transmission into my life of remembering the importance of adventure and putting ourselves out into the world and seeing new things or seeing old things from a new perspective and just being present with life. For those of us who feel really married to our mission and so loyal to our mission, which I love my mission. I was just, I was sharing with Rhonda backstage, this terrible dream that I had. We can talk a little bit about that too, because it ties in with community. But this terrible dream I had, I was having trouble shaking it and just like not feeling it, feeling out of it. And I knew that if I came on early and connected with these women, that would begin to lift. But y'all, the second I plugged in my computer back here and started turning it on, it was like the second I let go of what was in my field and got tapped back into my mission, my energy started to lift and I felt good again. And it was like an instant turnaround. And I had tried everything. I walked this morning, I earthed, I grounded, stood outside, even though there's snow outside on the ground. I showered, I asked my light team for help. But it was that connection point and being in alignment with my mission that really helped it lift. But that being said, sometimes I can get so wrapped up in this space of how I need to show up that I don't get out enough. And that I needed to bring adventure back into my life in ways that I had put it on the back burner for quite some time. So I really love that you're bringing forward that idea of adventure and how important that is in our lives. And I'm so grateful that I literally have like the ultimate adventurer on the planet, especially for those of us who are all up here in Wooville and you know about the crystal skulls. Like, to have one of your buds be the keeper of one of the crystal skulls is nuts.
That's
You know?
beautiful.
Yeah. I think it's about bringing in a new definition to adventure too, though.
Ooh, what do
Heck
you
yeah.
think?
I don't know. It's just feeling like it needs to be an evolved definition. Like there's more to adventure. You know, we think of it as having to go out and have these big experiences, but we remember that we can also have these big experiences within as well and have these powerful adventures. That it's not just about going and, you know, hiking big mountains and doing all these big things, but it's about really allowing yourself to be fully immersed in whatever experience you're having can be a big adventure. You know, because whatever offers you change is a big adventure, right? And change is fluid. Change is always happening. So it's really about your perspective on how you see it. Yes, I mean, you could step out in your yard and have an experience with, you know, a bird, and that could be a big adventure, right? So it's whatever is offering you an opportunity for change, you know, in the highest sense is really an adventure.
Dream time can be a big adventure. Has anybody
Always.
live these days?
Yes. Was it the full moon? I mean, because it usually happens a lot then, or is there other stuff going on?
Well, I have been more consciously aware of my dreams. I've had this desire to really become lucid in the dream state and to use that time to just have more concrete meaning in my life. And I don't normally have bad dreams, but last night I had a terrible dream, terrible. And it was two women coming after me and trying to kill me in a variety of ways. And I noticed it was from part of the dream. It felt like this expansive running and like trying to get away from them in this big, what felt like a big field of energy. And then there are times when they had me cornered too. And I felt like I was trying to get away from him in this little tiny, like not enough space to move kind of energy, like where it's like, oh shit, they got me now because I don't have anywhere to run. At least 3 chapters ago in the dream where I was running down the freeway, I had some space to run, right? But then I got me cornered. And when I woke up, I thought, and was processing, and I thought, I wonder if this is connected to the persecution energy that so many of us feel from either past lifetimes, or I feel like we have incarnations of that in this lifetime when we don't have community. When you risk being weird or crazy in front of your family for being interested in this or having knowledge or having downloads that come in, we can resist stepping up and speaking our truth and rest in who we are when we don't have the community around us. And I wondered if there was some awareness and activation and transmission coming in that I was being invited to be present to through the Akash that would help people really let go of this trauma storyline. What do you guys think about that?
Well, like I said, when we visited, I said when I visited the ether the other day in your space there, I noticed some women said I had to go out so I could be myself out here. And I thought, oh, that's so sad. In your own home, you can't be yourself. So I think there's a real need for that community so people get empowered that they can be themselves in their own space. Like, of course, we've had that for a while, but I think there was a point in time, I can't remember when that was. It was so long ago that I wouldn't be myself. No, seriously. I mean, I remember it's been more than 20 years. So when you give the I don't care anymore away. Yeah, I think it's like with the community, they encourage you, and you also get that community dynamic and strength that you can come out and you get to discuss things and you can talk about things and you can ask and you get to share. And I think that's so important. It doesn't matter what community it is, as long as you can be part of a community where you can gather that strength. But like, that's where I'm thinking, like the persecution, if we're a group, we can stand up to that persecution so much easier, and we can draw strength and maybe release some of that persecution energy.
Yeah.
Together. I don't know.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Can we do a little activation?
Oh, absolutely.
Wait, let me add. Yeah, let me add. This is really both a collective healing, but it's the crystalline grid is changing because the earth is expanding and we're expanding, and our energies and frequencies are moving up, right? We're hitting all the ascension things. The crystalline grid is not going to be hanging on to the same stuff. So I think it's releasing a lot of the last of the crap that we've all had to deal with along the line, and making way for itself to bring in more energy that's needed as we go. So it's a cleansing altogether from everywhere.
I love it. Gina, yeah, thank you too for acknowledging that it's a past life in shadow that's struggling to stay, but we're saying we're acknowledging and releasing you. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, shadow energy. Get on out of here. Here's what I would love to do if you ladies are up for it. Would it be cool if I opened our records quickly, and then if each of you just did whatever is coming through your awareness in the records for us, and the four of us, do a collective activation, release, transmission, and healing? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So I'm going to invite everybody, rub your hands together a little bit, create a little friction in the hands, and then palms up. Feel that energy already moving in the hands, palms up in a receptive position. I want you to take a deep breath in, creating space in your body, your mind, your emotions, in the field. Deep breath in. Pause at the top of the breath, letting that space integrate. We're going to call light into this space with the next breath. Exhale. Second deep breath, call light into that spaciousness we just created. Light is intelligence, awareness, consciousness, new possibility. Oh yeah, I can feel things being made whole right now and just breathing that light. Exhale. One more deep breath in. Call your consciousness into the now moment, letting go of everything else. Good. Releasing the breath. As you release the breath, focus on a crystalline tube of light running up and down your spine. And I want you to sink that crystalline tube of light into the belly of Mother Earth, anchoring it into our planet, and then raising it out of the top of your head. But even though it's raising, I want you to imagine anchoring into the Akash. So sending that crystalline tube of light up outside the time-space continuum, exiting the universe, exiting the multiverse, anchoring into the Akash. But opening up that vortex of energy, you've got embodiment energy and perfect self-expression, perfect balance and harmony flowing up from Mother Earth, enlivening all of your cells. And you've got the intelligence and the wisdom of the Akash of your soul flowing down through the crystalline tube, illuminating what that perfect self-expression looks like for you. Drop the consciousness into the heart space, and we're going to sound 5 sacred ohms now. I'm going to invite you to ohm. The girls know how to do it, so they'll be your guides. But as we're ohming together, I want you to feel that soul call. Set the intention of calling in your soul family, connecting with your soul family. With this ohm, I relax my body. You can repeat after me, either silently or out loud, and then we'll ohm together. With this ohm, I relax my mind. With this ohm, I release my ego. With this ohm, I call in the light. Really feel those ohms. Feel a new vibrational alignment bringing forward your soul family, new guides, your ancient wisdom. With this ohm, I open the Akashic records of Emily Suzanne Harrison. The records are now open. I'm going to turn it over to you ladies now to just channel through whatever feels alive in your awareness right now.
The message I was getting is that, dear ones, there are so many skills around you that you are waking up to. There are time capsules that you have saved in your Akash that the earth is now ready to experience, and you are the pioneers. Play with your new tools, experience, release, and share. More light is coming. The vibrations are coming. What more is available to you? What more is there for you to experience? You are helped, you are loved, and you have so much support. Tap into the love and the support and the compassion all around you. Deep within the crystalline grid, changes are happening. You are the first ones to speak of it. And wisdom is coming to be spoken and lived. I don't know. I'm losing it. Sorry.
Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you.
Mine's coming through as more of a visual. I'm seeing the auric field is shifting for each soul. The auric field has been shifting in really powerful ways where the need for protection is being released. It's now becoming more of, I don't know, it's like the colors, the vibrations of the energy around us has shifted in a way that we now automatically transmute any density that comes into our auric field. So we no longer need to feel like we need protection. It's just a very sacred space that we've entered that we're able to, there's a deeper level of security and safety.
Thank you.
Because we've really stepped into the sovereignty of what we truly are. We're releasing that 3D paradigm of the process of needing to believe that we could ever be in danger. That's what's coming through.
Wow, thank you, Bex.
I was like seeing lots of feathers coming down, and it kind of was telling me that we need to stop dismissing all our coincidences and all the signs as, oh, that's just something that's happened, and use these to affirm our own powers and not rely on other people validating our powers. We just realize that, oh yeah, those coincidences are not coincidences. Those are our clairvoyances, our clairs all coming online, and start looking for the signs and start acknowledging all this to really grow in our powers, and just believe that it's the people we meet. Oh, well, that's a neat coincidence. This doesn't happen. We are kind of self-destining ourselves so we can draw those people into our lives and draw those signs and rememberings into our lives, and to just welcome them.
Yes. Oh. Woo. All right, everybody, take a few nice deep breaths. There's a lot of transmission that came in through all of the words and the vibrations that the ladies and I have been so privileged and honored to be beacons of that vibrational frequency. So just breathe, take that in, allow it to activate your cellular structure. Notice the rearrangement of the time-space reality that's happening already as your awareness, as your perspective shifts. And we give thanks for all knowledge, all healing that's come forward in this space. We acknowledge the frequency of oneness. That's another way of acknowledging the grids that Teresa talked about. And the frequency of oneness and how that relates to the grids is any awareness or aha moment or shift that we have now becomes available to the collective if they are ready to receive them, through the grids, through the understanding that we are all one. The grids are the technology that allows us to experience the oneness. And with one final Om, closing the Akashic records. The records are now closed. Woo-wee. Okay, so Rhonda, you saw those feathers coming down, and then you talk about we can't deny the coincidences or synchronicities anymore. Teresa, you're part of this. I don't know if you remember this or not. Remember that? So we met in person at that festival, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And when I was driving home from that festival, I was driving along, and all of a sudden there are feathers. There's a white feather, and there's feathers everywhere. And I thought, am I behind a chicken truck? Like, but it was literally for miles. And I thought, there's no way that any chicken truck can be emitting this many feathers. Like, for miles, feathers everywhere. It was like I drove through mist, but it was feathers.
Wow.
Craziness.
That's
And
so
so
cool.
when you had that visual, I'm like, whoa, I have to tell that story, because that what happened in real life and blew my mind. I'm like, what is going on here?
That's so cool. Amazing.
Weird. Em,
Yes.
tell us about the ether and how people can join, because
Okay. So for those of you who need this level of connection, like what you've experienced here today, I want you to check out the link that Rhonda posted for you in the copy of the text around this broadcast. You will learn more about the price point, and there's a great video I want you to watch that will bring you into what's happening inside of the ether. But so you can hear it from my mouth and not just have to go to our sales page. This is a community that is designed to keep you in the frequency of miracle consciousness. There are 3 ways that we're working to do that for you. The first way is once a month, we have a 90-minute Zoom meeting where it's really cool that we can come on live like this and you can be part of it. But in Zoom, it's like we're all sitting in the same sacred classroom. In that meeting, you will, whether you've been trained in your records or not, you will enter into the space of your records, just like we did here today. I will take you into the records, and transmissions come through, activations come through. I can't tell you what they're going to be because I don't know until I show up and am present in that space, just like we did here today. But that's part of the beauty and the magic, is that you get to be present in the moment with what it is that your soul needs. What I can guarantee you is that your guides have assembled and come together, and it's almost like they've got a ceremony waiting for us, and it's our job to show up and to receive what comes through in that time. We are divinely held and activated in that hour and a half that we spend together once a week. You can also ask personal questions in this time. So if you are struggling with a particular challenge, you can submit questions prior to the meeting, and I will channel in intelligence for you to help support you to move through whatever challenges are present in your life. So that's aspect 1, is the monthly meetings where we come together in the Zoom room for live channeling and activation. The second aspect of the ether is our text message system, where you will get daily text messages, again, reminding you to breathe, to activate your vision, look up underneath your eyes, connect into the field, send your vision out there. This is going to help you with manifesting like nobody's business. Gratitude, the gratitude practices that we have for you, which when I was doing the research on these, you guys, I first got the download of, okay, these are the ways that we need to show up and support people. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I would really love to get a text message every day reminding me of the gratitude. Well, as I'm doing the research on what kind of gratitude exercises to do, within 24 hours, it changed my life, I have to say, because it's not just, oh, think of 5 things that you're grateful for. These are specific ways that we are calling gratitude into our everyday experience, and literally changed my perspective and vibration within 24 hours. That one, I called my assistant, Kathy. I'm like, Kathy, this is going to change everything for people. I cannot wait until they actually get to experience this. Of course, we know that gratitude is the fastest way to raise your frequency, but there's a bit of a disconnect between, okay, well, I'm grateful for this. Oh, well, let me look at the silver lining of this. That is not what this gratitude practice is going to be about.
Right.
It will blow your socks off. And then part 3, which I'm incredibly proud of, is that we have opened the Akashic Library, the vault of the most potent classes, workshops, content that I've created over the years. And there are classes within this program that we used to offer for $2,500 a piece. There are several of them. We've got Akashic business training. We've got how to create your own online course. We have how to tap into flow state, how to breath work practices. It is the expanse of, again, the most potent information that has come through me over the course of the last 7 years, available to everyone for, okay, you ready for this? You ready? Because you guys know that one of the ways that I have been able to create success in my business is by creating deep dive programs where they're 5-figure programs for people to dive into. And now we are able to show up and really share opportunity to transform the masses. It's $22.22 per month, or you can do an entire year for $222.22. And it feels so good to be, to have created a business and an entrepreneurial endeavor that now supports me and my children and my life, so that I can show up fully as the leader that I'm meant to show up as. And I also recognize that what I created in the past isn't what will serve the most of my community and my collective of people here on planet Earth. And I feel like the ether is the call, is the answer to that call of, how do I help as many people as possible? My goal for this year is to support 1 million people, to change the lives of 1 million people by creating an opportunity to hold the space of miracle consciousness. And with that, the ether has been born and is now ready for launch. So I'm so excited to welcome all of you who feel aligned in that space into this community. Rhonda got to experience the very first transmission, that sacred classroom. Rhonda, what were some of your biggest takeaways from that experience?
Well, it was that need to really, really reconnect with community and how much it heals my soul. I've been just, trying to heal personally, physically for the last 6 weeks. And this was just a nice boost and just feeling that energy of connection again with everyone, because I've been kind of out in the middle of nowhere by myself the last 6 weeks. So
Fall back, Rhonda. We got you. Pulling in the tether.
Yeah. So it was quite good. And I can see how it can grow. So it's.
Yep. Anybody who has questions about the ether, feel free to put them in the comments, and I will circle back after this broadcast and make sure that we get all of your questions answered.
It's awesome. Oh, and what's your word of the year, Emily, and why?
I have 2 words.
Okay.
And they're super geeked out business words: efficiency and productivity. And while I get to explore what these mean to me in this business sense, I'll invite everyone to see them on your own microcosm as well. Because if I had to break that down into civilian terms, what the heck does that even mean in real life terms? It means I'm ready to see where I'm leaking energy, where I am defaulting to old programs, and it's causing a spin out of depression or anxiety or stress. And what I'm also noticing is it's not just that moment where I fall out of alignment with my higher self when I get stressed or my fear comes up, or I'm judging myself in some manners. I still judge myself quite a bit. I notice I'm being able to firewall it really well, but it's coming up. And the more success my business has, the more I judge myself. I'm like, oh, is this on brand? I don't know. Maybe I should change my shirt. Oh, I don't know. Maybe my hair wasn't good enough. Just show up and channel, Emily. That's all they want from you anyway. Right. So I still feel this energy coming up. So I'm looking at where am I losing my energy along the way. And it's not only, like I said, in that moment where I'm judging or stressed or fearful, but there's a hangover effect that happens from that. And I have to re-nurture myself back into a state of being high vibe, right? And then, but I also noticed that while I'm in that lower energy frequency, I'm snippier at my kids. And dude, I don't know. Wait, when we were talking before this, somebody said teenage girls. Rhonda, did you say teenage girls were easier than teenage boys?
Yeah.
My experience is a little different.
Uh-huh.
My boys are easy. Vivian is a teenage girl, and she's so much like me and so independent and so strong in who she is. Woo! It can be challenging. And I noticed that if I'm snippy with her, and she's so sensitive, if I'm snippy with her, she instantly feels like I'm being mean to her. And when I get out of my own perspective of how I have experienced it, because I asked you to unload the damn dishwasher more than once, now I don't have to be nice about it anymore, right? But when I get out of my own experience and see it from her perspective, I'm like, oh, that does sound like your mom's being mean to you. And so because she's so sensitive and so independent, I risk ruining my relationship with her if I can't set aside my shit and really show up in my highest and best, even though I feel really justified. Because I said, how many times you got to ask to unload the damn dishwasher before it gets done? It's efficiency and productivity, people, right? It's like my business bleeds over into my family life, and I'm learning. And with Viv, I have to let all of that stuff go and really, really show up. And so the idea of efficiency and productivity is I'm seeing where my energy leaks or where I'm not holding that miracle frequency or Emily's highest vibrational frequency is creating these ripples in all of these different avenues of my life that I have to go back at some point and freaking clean up on aisle 4. And when my family life and my personal life and my health and everything is working at its optimum, then it's possible for me to show up and to share this message of the Akashic Records and this technology with 1 million people. But if I'm not in that state, it's not. Because I'm dealing with the fallout of Shadow Emily, who still shows up every night, who rears her, well, she got a pretty face too, but she rears her pretty face every now and then, that shadow. Nice. So those are my words: productivity and efficiency.
Cool. Those are great. Great words.
I want to know what.
And I should have clarified. I don't think teenage girls are less work, but they ramp up and then they become adults. Whereas you have these nice teenage boys, and all of a sudden, overnight, they know everything, and you're stupid.
Oh, that's been Lucas since he was like 7.
Yeah, I have
I'm used to that now.
In the past 5 years since my boys became teenagers. I will say that.
Yeah, you just wake up and you go, "Oh God, I'm living with the devil." No,
What are your words? I want to know what your all's words are, because I always get an activation from everyone else's words too.
Oh, yeah.
So my word is fun, because I decided I just want more fun this year. That's it. I don't have there's nothing more than I just want more fun. I want to enjoy life more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Girls just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine's recalibrate. I'm just going to recalibrate everything.
Yes.
So what's the difference between recalibrate and reintegrate?
I have to start from a 0 point. You know, when you recalibrate your scales. So I'm starting from 0 and going from there.
Cool.
All right.
Love that too. Thank you. What's yours, T-Dubs?
Well, I'm working, I think this is maybe my 3rd year I'm working on surrender, but my guides have told me that within the surrender, I have to bring in the balance. So that's why I'm having to bring in the divine masculine to, because you can surrender forever and nothing will get done. But at some point within the surrender, while you're allowing the flow, there's still a time to go ahead and move forward with the action. And I want to catch that more smoothly. So it's like surrender / balance. That's my word.
I understand that too. Thank you so much. I I got all those activations. Thank you, ladies.
Super. Awesome. Well, Teresa, you have the winner this week.
I have the winner this week, and we appreciate all of our winners because one, you've either shared out the show for us so that more people can see and benefit and learn about these awesome programs that are available, and the other way is through the comments where you're sharing your energy with all of us. And I don't know how long the comments are there forever, right? And so it's always continually sharing. And so we thank you so much. Who won this week? And what you're winning right now is still the Soul Spa, where we go back to ancient Egypt and we get a cleansing working with the goddess Mot. We are doing more. We just haven't got together to do more yet. So more is coming. Who won this time? Monica Freeman. Woo woo! Woo woo!
Hey, Monica. Good job.
You know what? I have been keeping a secret. It's not really a secret if anybody watched my Akashic Answers with Emily last Wednesday, but I have a winner too. I'm talking into the mic. I should talk into the real mic. Teresa Warren, you were the winner from my Leap. Yes, remember in Leap, the workshop?
Oh, yes,
yeah.
we shared. Oh,
Yes.
oh, wow. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't tell you how synchronistic and helpful. Oh my God, I'm shaking. Wow. Woo!
I
For
was
real?
like, Teresa gets to announce the winner because she's also the winner in my giveaway. So Teresa, you're the winner too. You and Monica. Yay! You won.
Yeah. Hey, Monica, big hugs.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That's super.
You're welcome. I'll connect with you after the show and we'll set up a time when you're
Okay.
available speaker next week.
That's cool.
Yes,
Very
thank
cool.
you.
Very cool. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. All right. So helpful. Okay. Well, Emily, people can get a hold of you. I've left the in the comments too. I've left for the ether, and all your comments, all your contact points are in the description for the video. Remember, you can rewatch this on YouTube as well as on the Breakthrough Show Network YouTube. You can also go to our other partners, veryparanormal.com from the UK, and go to their website, watch us, and watch all the other Very Paranormal shows, which are really awesome content, way better than Netflix a lot of times. And also, you can get us on podcast if you don't have the time to watch us. You can just download our podcast and listen to it because it's got all the same energy and on the replay. And sometimes it's more fun to empty the dishwasher if you're listening to a podcast. Just saying. So just put your podcast on and empty that.
Nope,
No,
we did one question.
That was the question, the recalibration one.
Okay.
Okay, you were off, recharging at that point. Sorry.
As one does.
As one does. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Emily, for being our guest today. And we'll see you all next week with a very big surprise because we don't know who's coming in. But we will soon. Thank you so much. And
Big
take
hugs
care,
of love.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.